Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this. I've recently come across the IBM Palo Alto Networks partnership. I know IBM has partnership with so many companies, and so does Palo Alto, but this one jumped out at me about some of the things what they said. And I wanted to double click on some of that. So I invited two gentlemen here to discuss about that. The first would be Tim from IBM. Tim, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Andy. Tim Heede. I'm the Global Vice President for Cybersecurity Services in IBM and focused on our strategic partnership with Palo Alto.
Excellent. Next, we have Kevin from Palo Alto Networks. Kevin?
Thanks, Andy. Kevin Kinn, Palo Alto Networks, Global VP of Go-to-Market SOC Transformation, partner up with Tim.
All right, so I got so many questions about this partnership I wanted to ask you guys. And I'm glad I got both of you online today. So let me start out with Tim. Tim, tell us a little bit about IBM's partnership with Palo Alto. Why is this partnership unique compared to so many other partnerships you have?
Right. So this is really a first in the industry. So there's like the partnership sits on multiple levels and models of collaboration across the two companies. And it's really the reason why we've done that is if we want to deal with cybersecurity at scale, we needed to do something different. And so we needed to build a model together whereby we could help clients get to security platformization, and we'll talk about that more today. And it's really about how to use the components of a technology capability, a service capability, power it with trusted AI, and drive that platformization capability into clients. We are beyond evangelization of platformization. We are at the point of execution of it, and that's why bringing it together, those two companies and capabilities, is key. Now, what does it mean, right? So it means that Palo Alto Networks and IBM are training our teams. We're training our teams on our joint capabilities, whether it's related to threat management or whether it's related to cloud security. There are product capabilities, there are service capabilities, there are AI accelerators. And so we want to make sure that everybody in our company has line of sight of what that means. And so our ambition was to train over 1,000 people on this joint value proposition for clients. In addition, we're building specific offerings around the Palo Alto capability. We're obviously driving joint marketing into the field, but more importantly, we're also joining up to have our clients live the joint capability through our cyber ranges, where we train our clients on their worst day. We simulate their worst day, and we're also building a joint security operating center and many, many more things that we're doing together. In addition, this partnership also was accelerated through the acquisition of Palo Alto of IBM's QRadar SaaS assets, and we will be collaborating to help clients migrate over to the Cortex portfolio of Palo Alto. And then in addition, Palo Alto is incorporating IBM Watson X large language models into Cortex XSIAM to deliver additional precision AI capability. So a lot's going on. It is more than a slide. It's more than paperware. It is really people in the field, from the offerings, from the capability, from the education and the skills, to bring it all together in front of clients to make platformization a reality.
Right. Well, so you just told me this is a lot more than some press release and things on paper, huh? All right. I want to double click on so many other things what you said, but Kevin, do you agree with the sentiment? You have so many partners. Why is this unique in your view?
100% would agree with what Tim said, but I think what makes it unique is, as many of you know, Palo Alto Networks has been disrupting the security technology or security industry for a while with our next generation firewall many years ago. And we continue to disrupt around what we're doing around SOC transformation and really trying to help customers really reimagine their approach to security. And with IBM's background of really transforming a lot of customers of how they do business, whether it be deploying AI to transforming supply chain management and everything, they have incredible expertise around really helping customers reimagine the possible. And by leveraging this partnership, we believe that, and our approach with the Cortex platform, right, and the assets that we're acquiring, it's a phenomenal partnership where we can really help customers transform not only how they do security for improved outcomes, but also manage costs through platformization, like we'll talk about, but also reduce their risk. Because as we know, the attackers are using these AI technologies. They're moving a lot faster. So it also helps customers, how do they reduce their risk and really improve their security operations by managing costs and managing risks.
Right. See, this is another thing people never think about, that while the good guys are struggling to use AI, bad guys seem to be using AI much faster, much quicker, much easier, much cheaper, right? So, but Tim, okay, so that's a grandiose view. I get that. But you just announced the partnership not too long ago. How far has this partnership now that the ink has dried on paper?
So we're in full mode of execution of all the streams that we agreed to perform on. And so if you think about educating experts in IBM, our goal was to have 1,000 people educated. I think by the end of this year, we already clipped the mark of 3,000 at this point. And so we're just a couple of months in. And so you can see the interest, which is really, really different by our clients. Clients want to know if we can deliver on this, and getting educated and having the certifications in place to do that is crucial to that. Secondly, if you think about the cyber range I talked about, we have now already built custom playbooks that are specific to the Palo Alto technology stack, and whereby we will use the technology stack to explain at a higher level how clients can and should respond when a breach occurs. And so we're really addressing C-level audiences to have them live their worst day in our cyber range, and we co-branded with Palo Alto Networks and the capabilities that we bring to bear. So those are two examples, but there's many more. So we in terms of offering capability and development, we have already launched two additional offerings after we announced, and we have a whole pipeline of new things coming up and about, specifically, I would say, in additional AI agents, and think even on the concept of, and Kevin will know what I'm talking about as well, agentic AI is the next border of AI. And we are definitely taking it there right now, because we have built different AI agent and components within Palo Alto, within IBM, and from third-party sources. And how to start orchestrating all of that is the next wave where we're going right now. So you can see, we've announced something. We are delivering on that business case in terms of capabilities, but we're already thinking ahead and co-innovating together for the next wave.
Right. Well, now you brought up agentic AI. We might have to extend the call by another hour now to discuss that. But all right, there's another question I have though. I'll ask you both. You use the term platformization. Platformization means so many different things for so many different people, right? So can you clarify the term and what that means to your clients?
Can I start with explaining why we think our clients care about platformization before we address how we deal with it? So just recently, we launched, it was last week, we launched a study from the Institute of Business Value, and it was co-authored between Palo Alto Networks and IBM. But really what we do there is so it's together with Oxford Economics, we survey 1,000 business leaders, CEOs, CFOs, CEOs in information security, information technology, and so on. And so the organizations that we poll are companies over $5 million annual revenue, 18 countries, 21 industries. So I would say a good sample to get information from. And so what they're telling us is that 52% of executives say that complexity and security is the biggest impediment to their cybersecurity operations. So half of the executives say that complexity is holding them back. And so then it comes down to what is complexity? And the complexity is defined as follows. The average number of cybersecurity solutions in these organizations is 83. They have 83 different solutions across 29 vendors. And so that drives complexity by itself. Not just complexity, it also drives additional threat. The second thing is they're looking to accelerate time to respond. And so if you can work in a way that there's seamless integration from the ground up, and you don't have 83 connections and interactions to manage and to keep up to date, the ability to reduce the time to respond is 84 days. So you're going to detect 84 days earlier that you have an incident and something happening in your system. A lot can happen in 84 days. Right. And so finally, I think, and that's the most important message, and there's many more data points in that study. I think the message is these executives, what they say is, and 96% of them say that security and platformization is a source of business value for them. So the ones that have embraced platformization, for them, it is a source of business value. Right. And that really starts talking about the bottom line. So we're no longer talking about a cost center. This is a value driver for companies. Kevin?
Exactly, Tim. So I would build upon that because, Andy, we were talking earlier about the attackers using AI. And I think platformization is even more important, again, to reduce the complexity, because some of the things that we've seen in our investigations is, the attackers, the dwell time from attackers used to be, 50 plus days. We're seeing at the time, last year, we actually saw a customer that we worked on an investigation. They actually got breached and data was exfilled in the exact same day. So as the attackers are moving faster, right, platformization and simplification around all these toolings, so that way responders can respond faster, identify what's happening in their network, protect their assets better, identify potential exfil. Because as Tim mentioned, with the 80 plus tools, right, there's just customers can't get ahead of it. Right. One example we've seen, we had one customer that had, for example, this attack was underway. They had 150 different alerts from 5 different data sources. How do you make reason of that when you're shifting and going from one tool to the other, right? And that's really the importance of bringing this all together, not only from simplification, but also from a practical responder standpoint. Right? It greatly improves the experience for that responder. And also what we've seen too in some of the studies is it actually, simplification in the SOC actually improves employee satisfaction and employee retention as well, reducing the turnover that we see.
Yeah, no, this is very much in line with a couple of reports that I did. One is about your alerts. That's very common. The term that I use there, which is a common term I hear in the industry, it's called alert fatigue. By doing the alert fatigue, people lose their focus, they're distracted, and their production level goes down, and their ability to act goes down. So you need insight, not alerts. That's one. And two, that number 84 is pretty interesting because there are startups that spring up, come to life, and disappear within 84 days. So 84 days is much after your company has disappeared if you have to act on that. So, all right. So, Kevin, when you and I were talking earlier, you talked about a bunch of this offerings that you specifically created for the SOC, SOC being the Security Operations Center, by Palo Alto Networks, specifically created for this partnership. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure. The SOC transformation area that we focus on is really, think of it as like a SOC platform in itself. It's called Cortex XIM. And what that does is it really combines the common tools that we see across SOC, right? EDR or XDR, NDR, ITDR, your threat management intel, your embedded SOAR technology. So what we've done is we've combined all these tools that we see in a typical SOC, integrated them into a single unified platform with a single data store. So by having all of the technologies report into a single data store using a common data model, we're able to normalize it, very easily normalize it, onboard data a lot easier, and also prepare that for AI. And then we have over 7,000 AI models and detection engines that actually apply to that data. That because it's all normalized in the same data set, Andy, to your point, we take all those alerts and actually stitch those together. So combining all those alerts into a single incident. So that way, if I'm looking at an attack, I can see, these 149 alerts from 5 or 6 or 10 different data sources are really all linked to one incident. And then once we have that incident, we can also, because it's integrated SOAR, we'll also be able to kick off some automation. So this is where we have a direct impact to reducing mean time to respond and detect. So that's where we provide much better outcomes with this unified platform by, common data model across all technologies, not limited to just Palo Alto Networks or IBM technologies, applying that machine learning to it, better detection, stitching, and then also automation on top of that.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. Matter of fact, when I advise the CXOs, about which tool to choose and how to use it, there's a classic line that I use. Don't get fooled by the volume of alerts you get from these tools. Worry about the value of alerts you get. So you need to worry about the value. Even if you get one alert, if that gives you right insight, if you're able to fix it like that, that's good enough. Rather than worry about the 150 or even hundreds of alerts when you combine observability and security. So, but in any case, so I got another question. It's sort of a loaded question. I'll ask it out loud, and either one of you, if you want to take it, you're welcome to. If not, I'll blabber through it. So you talked multiple times about putting AI and agents and agentic AI in the center of your combined security capabilities. Do either one of you want to double click on that and give a little bit more color to it?
I could talk a little bit about how we're applying it in different ways, and then I'll hand it over to Tim. But one way that we've seen this too is when we talk to customers about how we can simplify their environment. One of the things we've developed is actually analyzing their existing SIEM infrastructure, whether it be QRadar or others, and we can actually map their rules or their correlation rules to, what is covered with our out-of-box analytics. What does that mean, Andy? We've literally seen a customer with over 500 correlation rules. Running this tool, we can reduce the complexity, reduce the number of correlation rules by over 70% out of the box. So that's a real specific example of how we're applying this to simplify the environment or simplifying operations, but also, again, we use it heavily around detection and stitching that together, enriching that data, and then also providing recommended playbooks. So for example, if you see this alert so many times, pop up a playbook that you could then orchestrate a response, whether you have different approvals, or completely automate the response, and to simplify it and accelerate that response time. And then IBM's doing a lot more on top of that through their own service that Tim can address too.
How was IBM augmenting and infusing AI with the IBM's TDR managed service?
Yeah, so thanks, Andy. So maybe I can define the TDR service first, and then
please.
So TDR service is really a comprehensive threat management service that addresses threat analysis and response, threat intel, threat hunting, security incident coordination, platform engineering, content engineering, offensive security, all the services that you basically need when you're operating a security operating center. Now, in order to operate it, you need a technology platform. So XSIAM is our go-to technology platform. On top of that, in our service layer, we have embedded multiple AI agents, and I would call them digital workers, that address different topics that are not getting that are being dealt with in a different way within XSIAM. So we augment the capability of XSIAM, and what we basically do is we have all that we've learned over the last 20 years. We have all those rules, all those runbooks, all that. We can use that to correlate into the AI agents that we have, but also pull in real life data. I'll give you a couple of examples on where that plays. When we think about AI agents in our service layer, we think about AI agents that we need before the threat occurs, and then we need AI agents after the threat occurs. And so if you think about before the threat, a good example is how do you maximize your detection posture? And so this detection posture is really defined on what your coverage on the MITRE ATT&CK framework is, as an example. And so if you're able to visualize your detection rules against the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and then optimize those and give recommendations, what kind of additional sources you would need to close gaps in terms of maturity against the MITRE ATT&CK framework, that's going to help focus on where you need to put additional controls and rules in first. So that's an AI engine that we have built and that we run on top in our service, integrated with XSIAM. Another AI agent, and we have like 3 live right now. There's 3 in the pipeline, and we're building more as we go. The other one is automatic threat disposition scoring. To your point, how do you reduce the noise? So even alerts, events, obviously that's noise. Alerts are still noise, and so through what we do is we've mimicked human reasoning to automatically triage activity and detect threats faster. And so we use AI to learn from the past and analyze behavior, and then we automate threat alert disposition activity. In terms of numbers, we can auto disposition 85% of the alerts. So that really allows the focus on where the time of the analyst needs to be, and then you give additional AI workers to the analyst to work on whatever remains to be dealt with. So to automate beyond the automation, and then you can think about generating attack insights, understanding multiple telemetry streams, and see how you're going to make decisions based on hypothesis generation. What if? And so all of that is Gen AI infused, and basically builds on top of everything that XSIAM already brings to the table.
Right. Okay. Kevin, do you want to talk about how you are using AI to reduce risk and improve the security posture for your clients?
Yeah. So the AI models continually are updated based on the threats and the threat intel that we see as well. So we have, I believe, there's about 9 petabytes of security data that we're building our models from. So we have the largest, most rich security telemetry data from across all of our portfolio, really, that constantly update things that we see real time across all of even our firewall customers. All that telemetry data is coming in. That's how we constantly keep that updated based on the threat actor activity and things that we see. Right. The other piece too that is a part of this is being able to manage really attack surface management. So being able to tie into what telemetry and what things we're seeing around the public internet, tying that back to what the attacker may view a target as. Like what is their risk exposure? What is their attack surface? Being able to tie those 2 pieces together also is important. So we provide a customer not only inside out, but also an outside in view, and leveraging the AI models to really provide a much better coverage model, as well as reducing the risk.
Right. Now, those are some great points. Things like the digital human digital worker that Tim, you talked about, Kevin, you talked about the automating the service, and the threat is constantly changing. Dynamic attack surface has expanded given AI, and people are able to find the vulnerabilities using AI easily as well. How do you adjust to that dynamically rather than rules-based, which would have been horrendous to do, that you are way behind on attackers? So those are some great points. Any additional words? Sorry, go ahead.
The other thing, Andy, that just made me think of this too, is that I think what has changed a little bit too over the last couple of years is, as cloud is obviously, people are adopting cloud container security or containers and developing and deploying a lot of these cloud-based apps. What we've seen too over the last couple of years, the move to these cloud apps has happened at such a rapid pace that the SOC typically has not had the visibility into that environment that they had in the past. And to your point around attackers using AI, they've gotten really good around development or DevOps scripts and cloud ops scripts, right? Because of the use of AI. And one of the things too that we've seen, and it ties into platformization, is how do we bring these two organizations, SecOps and CloudOps, better? How do we bring them together? We don't want to slow down CloudOps because they need to deploy apps and maintain their deployment schedule, but the SOC needs better visibility into that. So that's another aspect that we look at, the platformization, and really having that another rich data source that typically isn't really part of the SOC strategy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Two quick points. One is about the fact that in my latest report, I talked about this. The observability and security is converging. Many vendors are converging their offerings, as well as many CXOs are looking to combine those teams, because when an incident happens, you don't know if it is a security incident or observability incident. Just a service going down. So you need both of them to work simultaneously, and the telemetry what you're getting is somewhat similar. Slightly different, but somewhat similar. So it helps you to take a look at that. So yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Any last word, guys, that you want to talk about?
If I may add one thing, because
Sure.
we have focused a lot on security operating centers and threat management. If we think about AI, so we have AI for security, which is what we've been talking about here, the agents that we develop. The other side is security for AI, which is where we also collaborate deeply with the Prisma portfolio and our capabilities, looking for shadow AI in companies, like automatically finding those areas and see how we can disposition it. And so in order to make sure that whatever AI is being used in companies is secured and it has the right security posture management like we traditionally would have in normal environments. AI is a bit of a special animal, and it requires specific capabilities, which Palo Alto also brings to the table together with IBM.
Yeah, I completely agree. And your fact about the fact that the threat surface has expanded with the fact that you don't even know what you need to secure with AI. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys saw that or not. There are a couple of LLMs that has been trained to know the known vulnerabilities, known knowns and unknown unknowns into the LLM. So it's, I mean, the people who train that were to see how to defend their systems. But if it falls in the wrong hands, that could go wrong way too. So you need to be proactive and ahead of things when it comes down to it, because going forward, there's going to be mostly the unknown unknowns. There's no way. I mean, you can always defend the known knowns, but you got to move into the new territory. Great, guys. It's wonderful. So from what I'm hearing, it looks like it's just more than having a partnership on paper. Looks like you guys are moving on the right direction. Love to see more, and maybe soon enough, we'll have another conversation to discuss how far you guys have come along. Thanks, Tim and Kevin, for joining me on this podcast.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.